Hey guys, and welcome to another video of The Guide, our tutorial series on FIFA 19. I'm Benjamin, also known as Taz, and in this video I want to show you a technique how to create chances, especially when you're in a counter-attack and you're through on the wing. And I'm talking about low crosses, and from my point of view, this technique is not used that frequently, even though it's quite powerful and it's easy to do. And in this video I will give you an explanation how to do the low crosses, and then we'll take a look at some situations and I will explain the factors in what kind of situations you should use the low cross. And there are two topics related to this one which will be helpful at applying the low crosses, and the first one is importance of ball contacts as always, and the second one is about using the radar. So make sure to check out the video description to find a link to these videos, and now let's start with the low cross and how to do it. The execution of a low cross is fairly easy. So when you're in a crossing situation and you want to do a low cross, you press the R1 button on PlayStation or the RB button on Xbox as a modificator for your cross. So when you start to power up the cross with your crossing button, so square on the PlayStation 4 or X on the Xbox, you simultaneously press R1 or RB. Aiming with the left stick and also powering up the cross is dependent on your setting for the crossing assistant. In general, I would recommend that you try to aim in that direction where you want to place the cross for the receiving player. And as you know from our video about the assistant settings, we recommend the semi setting for the crossing. How much you power up your cross is also depending on the situation and to which player you want to cross. If you want to cross to the far post, I would recommend powering up to 2 to 3 bars. And if you want to cross to the near post, I would recommend 1.5 bars. There's also another way to do the input for the low cross. Instead of using R1 or RB as a modificator, you double tap the crossing button. So what you have to do, you press the crossing button for the first time, and by that you power up your cross, and then you release the crossing button and right after go for a quick tap to do the input for the low cross. But from my point of view, this is a little bit more complicated than using the R1 or RB button as a modificator, and since FIFA 19 we don't use the double tap anymore for a low driven shot, and I think that's why it's not very natural to do a double tap for the low cross. Now let's take a look at some situations to establish an understanding how and when to use the low cross. Here I play a very nice through pass and then I try to keep up the pace to convert this pace into space. Sounds a little bit stupid, but that's the case. And in between the ball contacts, this is a very good time to take a look and see what is going on in the middle of the pitch. So you take a look at the defenders, at their positions, where they're running to, and also at your players, their positions and where they're running to. And when you take a look at the far post, you can see that there's a player from my team who's about to pass this defender, but it's not quite sure how this is going to develop. Yes, there might be a chance when I play a through pass right now that this is going to succeed, but I think it's very risky, and that's why I decide to keep track of the situation and take another ball contact in full pace to make sure that I use this space. After that, there is another moment in between the ball contacts where I have to decide what's the best option. And now when we take a look at the far post, you can see that my player a little bit past his defender, and also the defender is more moving to the inside. So I come to the conclusion, when I do a low cross to the far post like that, there's no way that the defender is going to get to the ball before my attacker. So I think that's a very good way to create a chance with a high chance of scoring a goal. So this is the first factor. You want to find a player from your team who's about to pass his defender. The second one is that you can play a cross in a way that it's far enough from the goalkeeper so that he's not able to intercept it. And the third one is that there are no other defenders who can intercept the cross. And all these three factors are in place at the moment, and that's why I decided to go for a low cross and score the goal. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you think that a low cross could be a very good option, but you can't see every player that is relevant at the moment because of the camera setting or other factors. And this is especially the case when you're through on the wing, like in this example. So here I'm not able to see the player in the middle, and what you can do now when you're in between the ball contacts, you have a very nice time window to take a look at the radar and see what's going on in the middle at the part that you can see at the moment. In this situation, you can see when you take a look at the radar that my player already passed this defender, and this is going to be a very good situation for a low cross. So I take another ball contact, take another look at the radar and come to the conclusion that the low cross is a very good option because my player passed this defender, there is no way that the goalkeeper is going to intercept the cross and no other defender is going to intercept the cross. Now you can see in the background some examples at which it didn't work out with a low cross, and these examples should help you to distinguish between the situations when it's a good situation for a low cross and when it's not a good situation for the low cross. Since the low cross and the low through pass are quite similar what they achieve, I would like to briefly compare these two ways of creating chances so that you should know when to use what. And the first advantage of a low cross is that it's more powerful, and this leads to that it's harder to intercept for the goalkeeper and that you're able to play it on longer distances. So when you have a long distance between the guy who's going to play the pass and the guy who's going to receive the pass, then you should tend to more use a low cross. Another advantage of the low cross is that your player is usually going to bend it a little bit and you can use this to curve it around the defenders. Then you have to keep in mind that it's easier to set up a cross than a pass when you're on the wing and in full pace. As explained in the passing basics video, you want to have a narrow angle between the direction that your player is looking to and the direction that your player is passing to. This will lead to a better pass. But a wider angle between these two directions is more acceptable for a cross because this is how usually cross work. Most of the time your player is more looking towards the baseline. In the background you can see two examples at which I decided to go for low through pass, and you could argue that it would have been also possible to play a low cross, but in these situations I decided to go for low through pass because my two players were quite narrow, so the distance between these two players were not that long. And another observation that you can make is that a low through pass is usually played a little bit more in a direction towards the goal. So you also have to keep that in mind when you're deciding between a low through pass and a low cross. Since you don't play a low cross above the opponent defenders, it's easier to intercept a low cross for your opponent than a normal cross. But on the other side, it's easier to convert a low cross into a goal because you don't have to win an aerial duel. So my recommendation is to play a low cross instead of a normal cross when you can see that the opponent defenders are not able to intercept the low cross. The low cross can be a very efficient tool to convert your breakthroughs on the wing and counterattacks into goals. If you find the right spots and timings, you can create an opportunity at which your opponent cannot do anything. Have this technique in mind when you are through on the wing and test it out when you feel there's a chance to have success with it, to get an idea how it works. But I'm going to be fully honest here. It's not like that you have a huge amount of situations like these in every single game. It's very specific and I score a goal like that in every 3 to 5 games. But obviously this can be very helpful to win the game or to increase your advantage and close the game out. So you should definitely have this technique in your repertoire. As mentioned earlier, we have a lot of related videos to this tutorial video already released or coming soon. For example, importance of ball context, use of radar, recommended assistance settings and also through balls, which will help you to get in these situations. Make sure to check out the video description to see the links for these and also other videos of the guide. You can also find information on our private coaching offers with top 100 and elite players. If you think this video was helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos of the guide. Thanks for your attention, keep a clean sheet, I'm out.